The Lives of the Saints by Father Alban Butler, May 7th. St. John of Beverley, Bishop and Confessor. This illustrious saint was born at Harfen, a village in the province of Deiri, which comprised Yorkshire, Lancashire, and the rest of the kingdom of the Northumbrians on the south side of the Tyne, what lay beyond it being called Bernicia. An earnest desire of qualifying himself for the service of God drew him young into Kent, where he made great progress in learning and piety in the famous school of St. Theodore, the archbishop, under the direction of the holy abbot Adrian. Afterwards, returning into his own country, he pursued the exercises of piety in the monastery of men under St. Hilda at Whitby, till the end of the reign of King Alfred, upon the death of Eta. Till the beginning of the reign of King Alfred, upon the death of Eta, he was made bishop of Heggelstadt, or Hexham. What time he had to spare from his functions he consecrated to heavenly contemplation, retiring for that purpose into the churchyard of St. Michael's beyond the river Tyne, about 1.5 miles from Heggelstadt, especially during the 40 days of Lent. He was accustomed to take with him some poor person whom he served during that time. Once in the beginning of a Lent, he took with him a dumb youth who never had been able to utter one word, and whose head was covered with hideous scabs and scales, without any hair. The saint caused a mansion to be built for this sick youth within his enclosure, and often admitted him into his own cell. On the second Sunday he made the sign of the cross upon his tongue and loosed it. Then he taught him to say Gia, which signifies in Saxon yea or yes, then the letters of the alphabet A, B, C, and afterwards symbols and words. Thus the youth miraculously obtained his speech. Moreover, by the saint's blessing, the remedies prescribed by a physician whom he employed, his head was entirely healed and became covered with hair. When St. Wilfrid returned from banishment, St. John yielded up to him the see of Heggelstadt. But some time after, upon the death of Bosa, a man of great sanctity and humility, as Bede testifies, he was placed in the archiepiscopal chair of York. Venerable Bede, who received the holy orders of deacon and priest at his hands, gives ample testimony to his sanctity, and relates the instantaneous cure of the sick wife of a neighboring thane or lord by holy water, and several other miracles performed by him, from the testimony of Birchton, abbot of Beverley, and Herbold, abbot of Timoth, who had been eyewitnesses to several of them. St. John made frequent retirement his delight, to renew thereby his spirit of devotion, lest the dissipation of exterior employs should extinguish it. He chose for his retreat a monastery which he had built at Beverley, then a forest, now a market town, 27 miles from York. This monastery, according to the custom of those times, he erected for the use of both sexes, and put it under the government of his disciple Birchton, or Berthun, first abbot of Beverley, then called Inderwood, or Wood of the Derry. In 717, being much broken with age and fatigues, he resigned his bishopric to his chaplain, St. Wilfrid the Younger, and having ordained him Bishop of York, he retired to Beverley, where he spent the remaining 4 years of his life in the punctual performance of all monastic duties. He died there the death of the just on the 7th of May, 721. His successor governed the See of York 15 years, was a great lover of the beauty of God's house, and is named among the saints on April 29th. The monastery of Beverley, having been destroyed by the Danes, King Athelstan, who had obtained a great victory over the Scots by the intercession of St. John, founded in his honor in the same place a rich collegiate church of canons. King Henry V attributed to the intercession of this saint the glorious victory of Agincourt, on which occasion a synod, in 1416, ordered his festival to be solemnly kept over all England. Hanschinius the Bolanist, in the second tome of May, has published 4 books of the miracles wrought at the relics of St. John of Beverley, written by eyewitnesses. His sacred bones were honorably translated into the church by Alfric, Archbishop of York, in 1037, a feast in honor of which translation was kept at York on the 25th of October. On the 13th of September, not the 24th as Mr. Stevens says, in 1664, the sexton, digging a grave in the church of Beverley, discovered a vault of freestone, in which was a box of lead containing several pieces of bones with some dust, yielding a sweet smell, with inscriptions, by which it appeared that these were the mortal remains of St. John of Beverley, as we read in Dugdon's History of the Collegiate Church of Beverley, who has transcribed them. These relics had been hid in the beginning of the reign of King Edward VI. Dugdale and Stevens testify that they were all reinterred in the middle alley of the same church. Alcuin had an extraordinary devotion to St. John of Beverley, and in his poem on the Saints of York, published by Thomas Gale, gives a long history of the miracles wrought by him from verse 1085 to 1215. Rabanus Maurus has placed Alcuin in his Martyrology on the 19th of May, and Hensenius on that day gives his life and mentions several private martyrologies in which his name is found, though he has never been anywhere honored in the office of the church.